Innatism refers to the philosophical and psychological idea that certain knowledge or abilities are innate to humans, meaning they are present at birth rather than learned from experience. Universal grammar, on the other hand, proposed by Noam Chomsky, is a theory suggesting that humans are born with an innate ability to understand the principles and structures of language, which helps in language acquisition.
This research study aims to determine if Chomsky's UG is relevant to language learning in various linguistic aspects. Four main themes came up after extensively reviewing existing literature pertaining to this topic, each one underscoring the intricate links between UG and different parts of language study. The first theme shows how lasting it is that UG indeed governs syntax as supported by similar patterns of syntactic transfer from L1 to L2. The second theme covers morphological acquisition of second language where UG determines the internal structure of words. Thirdly, it explains what are phonology acquisition and universal principles for perception being that similar sounds must look like. Fourthly, beside pragmatics and discourse coherence, there are other higher-level functions in language whose effects have been ignored by most researchers studying pragmatics alongside discourse coherence. All these outcomes demonstrate that UG has strong pervasive effects on second language acquisition, reaching far beyond formal linguistic domains.
Research findings, Theme 1. UG influence and syntax in SLA. The systematic literature review conducted for this study unearthed a robust body of evidence affirming the influential role of Chomsky's universal grammar principles in shaping syntactic structures during the acquisition of second languages. Theme 2. UG and morphological acquisition in L2. A synthesis of studies revealed UG's influence extends to morphological acquisition, guiding the internal structures of words in second languages. Theme 3. UG's impact on phonological acquisition in L2. The accumulated studies reveal UG's noteworthy impact on phonological acquisition during the process of acquiring second languages. Theme 4. UG and higher-level language functions, pragmatics, and discourse. The synthesis of studies in this literature reveal that UG plays a pivotal role in guiding not only surface-level pragmatic features but also the underlying pragmatic principles in second language learners.
In conclusion, the extensive exploration of UG and SLA has provided valuable insights into the multifaceted nature of language learning. Through the examination of various linguistic dimensions involving syntax, morphology, phonology, and higher-level language functions, a nuanced understanding of UG's impact on SLA was seen. This highlighted UG's consistent influence across diverse language aspects, emphasizing its essential role as a cognitive framework guiding learners through the complexities of SLA.
The next research study is entitled The Neural Basis of Universal Grammar, Evidence from English Syntax, Processing Impairments. The study aimed to understand how our brains process language, especially focusing on English grammar in people who have difficulty with language. The researchers used brain imaging called functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, to see which part of the brain are active when these people try to understand sentences. They were interested in a theory called universal grammar, which suggests that humans are born with built-in ability to learn language.
The findings of this research is that individuals with specific language impairments exhibit distinct patterns of brain activation compared to typically developing individuals when processing English syntax. These differences also in neural activation provided evidence for underlying neurological deficits in syntactic processing, supporting the notion of a biological basis for universal grammar. And the findings also suggest that universal grammar plays a role in shaping language acquisition and comprehension, and that disruptions in this system can lead to language impairments.
The study provides compelling evidence for the role of universal grammar in language acquisition, highlighting its neural basis in language processing. It highlights the importance of innate linguistic capacities in shaping language development and comprehension, underscoring the significance of considering neurobiological factors in language disorders.
Now, let's move forward to the background of the study. So number one is the focus of language acquisition research. So this study looks at how people learn their first and second languages to see what's similar and different about how they speak. Number two, early research methods. So in the past, researchers compared how people speak their first language or their L1 to their L2 to see what patterns they could find. So in number three, identification of structural parallels. So they found that sometimes people learning a second language talk in ways that are similar to native speakers, which made them wonder why. And number four, role of universal grammar or UG. Scientists like Chomsky say that our brains have built-in structures that help us learn language, so which might explain why second language learners sometimes sound like native speakers. And number five, interplay between language and cognition. Understanding how language and thinking are connected is important to figure out if learning your first and second language use the same mental processes. Number six, empirical studies. Researchers study real-life examples to see if second language learners use these built-in language structures, like the subjunctive rule, which is believed to be part of universal grammar.
Findings from this study indicate that non-native speakers consistently perform significantly better than chants in various aspects, including raw subject scores, sentence analysis, and contrast. These results suggest that they were not randomly guessing, but rather something was influencing their performance, potentially related to universal grammar effects. Furthermore, the response patterns of non-native speakers closely resembled those of native speakers, further supporting the idea that adults have some level of access to universal grammar knowledge.
Korean adult language learners' grammatical knowledge on English WH movement were assessed, wherein the universal grammar UG is thought to be the source of constraint, since Korean language doesn't have a syntactic WH movement. In the survey, the adult language learners didn't perform better than they did, and the authors explained and gave factors influencing the adult language learners. First is that universal grammar operates lesser for adults, and second is the adult language learners' different cognitive processes. Also, the authors pointed out that UG is available for adult language learners. Therefore, the study concludes that Korean adult language learners have an access to the universal grammar and use it to learn or enhance their English language proficiency.